You know that visible world around you, the rules you were taught in school, the corporate hierarchies you see on paper? Yeah, it's just a facade. It's a carefully constructed front for a much deeper, completely hidden system of influence that is silently dictating exactly who wins and who loses in our society.
I want you to just picture a scene for a second. Imagine two identical guys. They both arrive at the exact same imposing office building, and they both need the exact same critical approval to move their businesses forward. They've got the same qualifications, the identical stack of officially stamped documents, the whole nine yards. Yet their fates are going to be totally different. The first guy, he obediently takes a ticket, hands in his paperwork, and starts this agonizing, soul-crushing 6-month wait. But the second guy, he walks right past the line, makes one quiet phone call, and struts out 10 minutes later with the approval in his hand.
So what does that second guy possess? What on earth does he know that the first guy doesn't? Is it just a massive bank account? Well, no, not always. Is it some kind of elite aristocratic status? Not necessarily. Does he have power? Absolutely. But it is entirely not the kind of power most people are thinking of. We've got to completely throw out our old preconceived notions of wealth and formal titles, because the absolute most powerful force in society isn't a bank balance, it's access. And that access is tightly, fiercely controlled by what we can call the shadow network. Think of it kind of like a secret society of grandmaster chess players, just quietly moving the pieces from the dark. They are effortlessly gliding through permanently locked doors, while the rest of the world is left standing outside in the cold, desperately knocking. It's this hidden web of trust and favors operating right behind every single visible system you interact with on a daily basis.
Part 1. The illusion of official systems.
Listen, we have absolutely got to shatter this deeply ingrained lie that true power lives inside university degrees, job titles, or fancy official credentials. Every single structure in society, from corporate America to high-level politics, operates on two totally distinct operating systems. The public system is the lie we're all sold, right? Just submit the form, work hard, and wait your turn. But the hidden system, that's the cold, hard truth. Who introduced you and who actually trusts you. People will literally spend their entire lives endlessly fighting the public paperwork, completely blind to the real game being played right under their noses.
Part 2. Identifying the true gatekeepers.
So if the public system is just smoke and mirrors, then those highly visible leaders we're all told to worship, they aren't actually holding the keys. Instead, true access is managed by what you might call the invisible princes. These are the shadowy figures who actually control the board. They're the ones whispering in the ears of the visible leaders, silently deciding who gets brought into the inner sanctum and whose emails are permanently ignored. Most ambitious people make the fatal mistake of only chasing the CEO, right? The symbolic king. But guess what? The king doesn't manage the door. So who are these hidden gatekeepers in reality? Well, it's the executive assistant. It's the quiet advisor, the chief of staff. It's that long-term employee who's been sitting at the same desk for 20 years. These are the people nobody ever notices. While everyone else is hopelessly jumping up and down, waving their hands for the king's attention, the real, actionable power lies with these folks. They hold the literal and metaphorical keys to the kingdom. Because influence travels exclusively through people, not paperwork. I really want you to think about the sheer gravity of that for a second. Entire careers are silently built or utterly irrevocably destroyed long before an official meeting even begins. It's based entirely on whether one of those invisible princes quietly spoke your name in a closed-door room or silently decided to pull their support. Part 3, the Carnegie lesson. To really wrap our heads around how to operate within this framework, we've got to look at someone who hacked this exact shadow system from the absolute bottom of the barrel. Andrew Carnegie. No, I'm not talking about the famous, ultra-wealthy magnate of steel. I mean Carnegie, the lowly teenage messenger boy. His silent rise didn't happen because he was demanding promotions or waving his resume around. He just watched. He observed the power dynamics from the shadows while everyone else clocked in and clocked out. He waited patiently, and the second a massive crisis hit that the official system couldn't handle, he struck. He solved it, rendering himself completely and utterly indispensable. You see, the shadow network exclusively rewards value. It never, ever rewards neediness. And honestly, this exposes the fatal flaw in about 99% of the traditional networking advice you hear out there. Most people approach powerful individuals like they're desperately begging for favors, right? They're basically asking for a handout. But the shadow network does not operate on charity. Powerful people only remember the quiet, brutally effective problem solvers.
Part 4. Building the shadow currency.
Now, if favors and neediness don't work, what is the actual underlying economic engine of this hidden underworld? We are conditioned from birth to believe that money is the ultimate skeleton key that opens any door. But that is the grand illusion. The reality is that trust is the ultimate, unparalleled currency of the shadows. There are high-level rooms out there that billions of dollars literally cannot buy your way into. But the exact right amount of trust, that'll let you walk right through the front door without a second glance.
Trust moves so much faster than money. It opens permanently locked doors that official, stamped paperwork can't even make a dent in. It creates these incredibly valuable, quiet, off-the-books introductions that let you bypass decades of climbing the corporate ladder. And perhaps the most crucial part, it builds an invisible armor, an impenetrable layer of protection around you for when things inevitably go wrong. It vastly outpaces any financial transaction.
But here's the catch. Trust cannot be bought. It has to be woven. Every single promise you actually keep, every sensitive secret you diligently protect, every complex problem you silently solve for someone else, all of that weaves another incredibly strong thread into your web. And over time, that web becomes so dense, so resilient, that it becomes significantly stronger than any fancy official title you could ever have printed on a business card.
Part 5. The phone call principle.
And this brings us right to the psychological climax of the shadow network. This is the exact moment it entirely overrides all of society's public protocols. There comes this terrifyingly powerful point in a person's life where their network is so robust, so ironclad, that a single phone call made on their behalf carries more weight than somebody else's entire lifetime of public credentials. Not because you're famous. No. Simply because a deeply trusted name was whispered in the right ear. Your reputation enters and completely commands the room long before your hand even touches the doorknob.
It's crazy, because most people will spend their entire lives in this desperate, incredibly noisy pursuit of public importance. But being important merely attracts attention. And attention? It's fleeting, it's fragile, and it is entirely temporary. Trust, on the other hand, operates completely beneath the surface. It attracts deep, monumental opportunity, and it just continuously compounds over decades. The genuinely smart players, they don't want to be important. They want to be trusted.
And that leads us to the ultimate chilling realization of this explainer. The truest power in our world is completely unseen. The general public only ever witnesses the devastatingly effective results of the shadow network. We see the sudden, unexplainable promotion. We see the impossible billion-dollar deal closing out of nowhere. We see the massive PR crisis just quietly disappearing overnight. You don't see the network itself. You only see the ripples it leaves behind on the surface of the water.
So, I'm going to leave you with this lingering, provocative question to ask yourself the very next time you step into a high-stakes environment. Stop looking for the loudest guy. Stop looking for the person wearing the most expensive suit or the one with the highest, flashiest title on their door. Instead, look around and ask yourself, who does everyone in this room actually trust? Because I promise you, that is the silent architect operating behind the scenes. That is where the real power lives. Build your network in silence.